What happened that made a millionaire girl on a trip to Africa decide to marry a simple village boy? Emily and Kofi's story had reached that point where love wasn't just about two hearts, it was about two entire worlds starting to come together. That African soil, where Emily had once arrived, just as a traveler, now felt like home. She'd grown so close to the people and the kids there, she couldn't imagine a single day without them. Kofi's simplicity, those soft, honest eyes, and his heart-spoken words pulled Emily closer to him every single day. One evening, as the sky melted into shades of orange and the trees cast wave-like shadows across the ground, Emily gently took Kofi's hand and said, "Will you marry me?" Kofi stayed quiet for a second, his eyes full of questions, but no fear. Emily's smile said everything. He let out a deep breath and whispered, "Yes, with all my heart." It was like time just paused for that moment. Emily was beyond happy. She threw her arms around Kofi, holding him like the world had just given her everything she ever wanted. But that peace didn't last long. Emily's father, Richard Carter, a powerful, no-nonsense businessman, found out about the relationship and completely lost it. He hopped onto his private jet and landed straight in Africa. His face was on fire with rage, his eyes filled with pride and panic. "Emily, have you completely lost it?" he shouted. "Do you even know who he is? Where he comes from?" Emily kept her calm. "I know exactly who he is, Dad. He's the one who showed me what real love looks like." Richard stared down Kofi from head to toe, like he was sizing up some guy at an auction. Kofi didn't say a word, head bowed, posture humble, but his eyes, still full of respect. No fear. Richard threw out threats, said she'd lose her entire inheritance. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes, but she didn't flinch. Her decision was solid as stone. Then one day, something inside Richard began to shift. He stopped his car just outside the village. He saw Kofi working in the fields, sweating under the sun. He saw him laughing with kids, lifting an old woman onto his back and walking her to the clinic. Right there, in front of him, wasn't just some poor village guy. He was a man with heart, someone who didn't live in the world's eyes, but in people's hearts. That night, Richard sat down with Emily. "He's not what I imagined," he admitted. Emily just smiled. "Because you never tried to see beyond the surface." The next day, Richard asked to speak with Kofi alone. They sat down, face to face, and Richard asked, "Why do you love my daughter?" Kofi looked him dead in the eyes and replied, "Because she made me believe I'm more than what the world sees." That one sentence, it cracked something open in Richard. He took Emily's hand and gently placed it into Kofi's. "If she's this sure about you, then maybe I did raise her right." The wedding wasn't grand, it was simple, but it felt like the universe itself was blessing them. Village kids came with flowers. Emily wore her mum's old ring. And Kofi tied his mother's traditional cloth around Emily's wrist, a symbol of promise, of soul-deep tradition. Emily and Kofi's story wasn't just about two hearts falling in love. It was the triumph of a mindset, one that values the heart, not the status. Love saw no status, no lines drawn in sand. Her wealth met his simplicity, a fate unplanned. She dreamt of palaces shining bright. He built a kingdom with hands and heart so right. Love answered questions the world couldn't solve, and even a father's eyes began to evolve. Some bonds aren't written by fate alone. Some love stories become legends, beautifully known.